so many magical and painful and challenging things come into our lives at that age. Sobriety has given me the gift of not keeping sobriety in the forefront of my mind anymore. Every sacrifice I made has been well worth it for the gifts it's brought too. Discomfort used to feel like it was going to kill me. Discomfort's not going to kill anyone.
Hello, and welcome back to Retrieving Sanity with your podcast host Keegan, and this is your podcast for recovery-focused healing from addictions and traumas. Today, we are joined by a guest who proves that magic isn't just found in ancient forests, but in the heart of New York City, and within the quiet moments of our own healing. Sarah Potter is a world-renowned psychic, tarot reader, and the author of the transformative book, Sober Magic. She has designed bespoke rituals for brands like Marc Jacobs and Held Space for hundreds of immersive full moon ceremonies, but her true mastery lies in helping individuals use the tarot to build a bridge back to themselves. So, Sarah, how are you doing today, and how did you find yourself, reading tarot like you do?
Oh, I'm so good. I love Sunday. Sunday is such a good day. I feel like I don't get the Sunday scaries anymore, so it's just lovely to be here with you. And tarot's been part of my life for a long time. I found tarot when I was 12. I feel like so many magical and painful and challenging things come into our lives at that age. I feel like there's a reason so many spiritual rites come around that time, because for me, that was when I was really first accessing or attempting to understand my sense of power and agency and really trying to understand the world around me.
Yeah.
I grew up as a psychic child, and tarot helped me make sense of everything I was putting together and help me put together everything I was sensing and feeling. And just to be like totally honest, I fell into tarot because I wanted to know who had a crush on me, and I felt that I could use the cards to navigate that. And it was so funny. I shared that with a friend of mine, and he's like, "Isn't it always like back to love?" He's like, "That's when I picked up a guitar." And he was like, at 12, I picked up a guitar to try to connect with others and understand like loving connection in that way. And I think that's really sweet to think about. So, I that's when I found tarot, and I've had I feel like any long relationship, it's been up and down, and there were times I put my cards away and then pick them back up, and but now, we're stuck together. We're together every day, so it is my longest lasting relationship, and truly wonderful.
Oh, I love that. That is really awesome. And I just got to say, I think you're right about that whole 12, 13-year-old range, because that's whenever
Mm-hmm.
my shift happened too, and
Wow.
yeah, so I bet you that's something to really ask a bunch of people. But I love how you use tarot like that, because, and you made that connection, because, what was it? I saw something on Facebook not too long ago where it was like, if you were into the little thing that could do the paper shape,
Yes.
and like if you could do that, or if you like did something else to like just read fate or whatever, you're probably
Mm-hmm.
into witchcraft and tarot now. And I was like, yeah, that's right, how do they know?
Isn't that amazing? I loved making those things. I was always making those things. I was playing MASH. Did you ever play MASH?
Yes, okay, yeah.
You know,
Sorry, that's an old memory. Holy cow!
right?
Huh.
Yes. One of my greatest muses is my teenage self. So I think a lot about my interests at that time and how they've grown up with me into adulthood. And so I really love that you saw that on the internet, because yeah, those little, like, I don't remember what those little thingies were called that you fold up and play with, but like, yeah, that and MASH were two of my like favorite
Yeah.
games. And it's like, of course she grew up to be the tarot reader.
Yeah. Uh, Here's one question though that I want to help people dispel real quick before we get too far into tarot. because tarot has a lot of misconceptions with it. And one of my guests back in October, I think it was, she said that divination, or tarot rather, was black magic. And I was like, okay, like, you're free to have that opinion, but like, I mean, from a certain perspective, maybe, but after exploring it, experiencing it, and really just getting to know what it is, I hold the opposite. If anything, it's a tool for great good, but I could see how it's also scary to some people, right? Because, like you said, sometimes you put your cards away, and I know sometimes I don't touch them whenever I don't want to know the truth. So,
Of course. Well, I think that what I immediately think of actually is Tarot's Temperance card, which is balance and moderation.
mm,
Not everything is a tarot situation.
mm,
And I think that discernment is really important. And I think that anything in excess is not going to be supportive. And as far as whether divination is good or bad, or how, like, the morality of it,
mm,
for me as a spiritual advisor, I'm not here to tell you your moral compass. That's for you to understand.
mm,
And I think that tarot is such a beautiful tool for self-reflection. And I feel like that is such an important foundation. I feel like so much of this world is designed for quickness and distraction, and being present and still can be uncomfortable for so many different reasons. And why I love tarot is it helped me find the comfort and peace in stillness, and to think about, well, what is it that I want? What is it that I need? And really getting to understand myself better. And to me, there's nothing evil about knowing yourself better and self-reflection. But when morality comes into something, I believe that's up to the individual.
mm.
And you know what? Tarot doesn't need to be for everyone. It doesn't need to
No,
be for you. Not everything is for everyone, and
mm-mm.
that's okay. I think, like, how beautiful to celebrate differences, or to know what works and what doesn't work. And that's, I just gave up arguing about the validity of tarot a very long time ago, and I'm actually in full acceptance of, like, it doesn't have to be for you. That's okay.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
don't know. I want to know what that person was doing at 12. I'm actually far more curious about that. Tell me. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I want to know. I love hearing everyone's story.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, so thank you for just highlighting that it's not for everyone necessarily, and it's not for everything either, because I think whenever some people go down the spiritual path, quote unquote, sometimes people will lead themselves into a psychosis of sorts, or
Totally.
into something that is a worse situation than whenever they started the whole journey, you know? But that's like what you said, temperance, balance in all things. And I just got to say, the title of your book, Sober Magic, kind of implies that you may have had too much of something in the past, right?
I'd say so. Yeah. Well, I am in recovery, and I I've been sober now. It's so funny. I feel like sobriety has given me the gift of not keeping sobriety in the forefront of my mind anymore. But I
Yeah.
am sneaking up on 9 years of continuous
Whoa.
sobriety. And
Woo.
thank you. It feels good.
Yeah.
And through my journey and through
Mm-hmm.
writing this book, I could really understand that I was turning to substances at quite a young age to combat my great sensitivity to the
Mm-hmm.
world, and to dull my senses and to dull my emotions, and um in a way that was harmful. And through recovery, I've gained tools that are actually supportive, and the understanding of how to move through feeling a lot of feelings and deal with discomfort and all of the challenges that I feel like come with being a human. And for me, what inspired writing this book was thinking about how tarot and witchcraft and 12 steps have come together to support my recovery journey, because this is the longest continuous sobriety I've ever had in my life. Sobriety started at a pretty young age for me, but
Mm-hmm.
my recovery journey does include several relapses.
Mm-hmm.
And I started, I really see the whole world through tarot. I can just, that's how my mind works.
Mm-hmm.
And I I was thinking, the introduction of my book describes the inspiration of the book when I had a psychic attack and blacked out in a concert venue.
Oof.
And I started thinking about it and I was like, wow, like afterwards in this reflection of really celebrating my recovery time in that moment, I was thinking like about the fool's journey of the major arcana and
Mm-hmm.
how 12 steps is a fool's journey too. And I was like, how hasn't anyone like put these two together? And then I looked online, I was like, has anyone done this? And it's like not a deep dive, like a deep dive book.
Uh-huh.
And it just made so much sense to me. And I was thinking about how, through tarot, we go through the fool's journey and we go from the fool to the world, and then we start again at the fool, much like in
Mm-hmm.
12 steps, and that
Yeah.
the layers of healing show us more layers to heal. And I was like, this is my book.
Oh, that is way too cool. And I love the tie-in connection right there because you're right. Like whenever I first started, I just want to also say congratulations on your longest spree of recovery because that is just way too cool.
Thank
And
you.
yeah, and it really does highlight that no one has to follow this paradigm of someone else's design if that is what you're called to kind of follow, right? Because everyone's recovery is a little bit different. Some tools help some people and some people don't even want to touch other tools. So whenever it comes to the fool's journey and stuff like that, where did you find your first like journey with the fool? Does that make sense?
I think so. Like, do you mean like the concept of taking a chance and like
Sure.
diving into the unknown?
Yeah. Or actually, here, how would you also equate tarot to the 12 steps besides just that fool's journey? Because tarot is way intricate and like we can have a whole like series on every single card, you know?
Yes.
So how would you describe tarot to someone that's possibly looking to take that deep dive?
Well, what I love about tarot is the visual storytelling aspect and how each card points out different notions, archetypes, concepts to consider and how to apply them.
Mm,
And going in order with the 12 steps and that fool's journey and the major arcana, which in my book I also back it up with the minors too, to kind of flesh out
yeah.
the everyday details as the minor arcana does.
Uh-huh.
Um and I felt like it brought in really supportive aspects to consider, and even going in order, thinking of these um, parallel fool's journeys that I thought integrated quite easily.
Mm-hmm.
Just other ways to think about it, making it practical to embody,
Mm.
and being able to see how these concepts really support each other. And for me, like, I just think it's lovely to be a fool. I love the concept of the fool card. I have a dear friend of mine. We have had endless conversations about why we love that card so much. And I think when you really, I mean, there's challenges to being a fool, but I also think it's really lovely to dive into the unknown, free of expectations, or something I've really leaned into through recovery is it's okay to be scared, but do it anyway. And
Mm-hmm.
to me, like the fool really embodies that energy of just kind of fearlessness that comes with great fear,
Mm-hmm.
and being able to not know what's next, but go into it, and it could be so much better than you ever imagined. I mean, my recovery journey's been challenging, but everything good in my life is because of recovery.
Mhm.
And in that way, it's beyond my wildest dreams of what I could have ever, ever thought could be possible or part of my reality. And so I think sometimes we just need to be a fool and embrace it fully.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. And it now that I'm thinking about it, it is really just kind of like addiction was a fool's journey, in a sense, but at the same time, the aspect of recovery is a fool's journey too because it's scary as hell. I don't know about you, but I thought getting sober was going to be like the end of the world.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Of course. I thought I was going to give up everything,
Hmm.
but every sacrifice I made has been well worth it for the gifts it's brought too.
Hmm. Yeah, and kitty
The
cat
Quistier.
wanted to be on camera, huh?
Always the star of the operation here.
Speaking of cats and recovery, how has your cat helped you in your recovery and mental health?
Oh, so much. She really has. I, when I adopted her, I was still, it was before recovery.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, like through my step work, I did make an amends to her. And
Oh.
it was very sweet. She was very accepting, and she was like, it was kind of fun when you were hungover and we would lay in bed for 2 days watching movies. Like, I kind of like that. But that's not how I want to show up in this world. And I think it's something that I really love about her presence in my life is being responsible for something outside of myself.
Mm-hmm.
Um and she's so in tune with her intuition. She's very much like understands boundaries and has no problem communicating them. She knows what she needs and wants and makes sure that those needs and desires are met. And
Mm-hmm.
it's taught me, like it really has taught me to embody that as well.
Mm-hmm.
And oh, she adds so much to my life. She's part of everything. Just as much as she's part of this interview, she's a part of every ritual. She loves to join readings and sit in my lap, and she's commenting as well and offering her insight. And I when I was writing this book, I was thinking about like how to bring in um familiars and
Mm-hmm.
how she's assisted my recovery. And it was one of the things that kind of got cut away, so that's going to be another book.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that it's just we learn so much from animals, and I think if you're in a space to share your life with an animal and have a familiar in recovery, I think it can be so helpful and so wonderful. And um she's added so much to my life. I'm so thankful for her.
Yeah, I can't imagine the kind of adventures that y'all have had throughout the whole journey because, I mean, if it was before recovery, I can only imagine how hectic it actually got, because I know how hectic recovery itself is and I know everything before. So,
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I really appreciate how she's been an anchor in my
mm,
life. And um, now I'm like really excited to get out of bed every day. And I love the morning. I love waking up early, and she's
mm,
part of my routine, and she travels really well. So this cat
mm.
has stayed in some of the most luxurious hotels. It's quite incredible. And I do full moon parties at the Asbury Hotel once a month
Uh-huh.
in Asbury Park, New Jersey, and they are pet friendly. So she
Yeah.
comes, and on only on the full moon, because I'll usually stay for a few days and like do readings, um and she's a lovely guest. But on a
Mm.
full moon, she wants to run out into the hallway. And I feel like, the full moon, it's a wild energy, and like, so, it's like really late at night. I always, the full moon, like, it really, I think there's a lot of adrenaline, like leading a ritual for a
Hmm.
huge crowd, but
Yeah.
also like we're right near the ocean. So I feel this adrenaline. So I'm up like late and I'll let her like think she's sneaking out of the room and like run in the hallway. And she startled a bachelorette party on the full moon.
Oh, whoa.
And that was really funny. They thought that, and I was in like a long white gown with like pearls in my hair. So they thought that like they saw this black cat and they thought it was like an omen. And then they saw me, the ghost, and like, and I was like, oops. I like picked her up and I was like, oh, I'm sorry we startled you. And then like disappeared back into my room. And I was like, you frightened the bachelorettes. But, you know, the witches got to have a little fun too sometimes. So that was
Yeah.
our little full moon prank. Or not, I don't know if it's a prank, but like a little full moon fright.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know? We have fun.
I can only imagine that actually have played like I wish that y'all had the CCTV footage of
Oh,
that, that'd be
me too.
hilarious.
I know. I know. We do. We have a lot of fun over here. So
Yeah.
I know. I wish we had that footage too. Mm.
Yeah. But one thing that you said before though was that now you're ready and excited to get out of bed in the mornings, and she's part of your routine and everything. And I think another word for routine could be a ritual per se, right?
That is true. Absolutely.
So what kind of rituals do you talk about in your book? Are they things that people can do on their day to day to have anchor points themselves, like in whenever they get up, or if they just had a really rough day or something?
Absolutely. So I designed this book to be read from from first to last,
Okay.
but I also feel like it can be a lovely oracle. So
Ooh.
if you are feeling something or maybe you don't have the direction today, open to a random page, see what's there, it's meant for you.
Hmm.
And each chapter is accompanied by tarot spreads and rituals to help you understand and embody and integrate the lessons of that step.
Ooh.
So, um, and you don't have to do the rituals in order. You don't have to do
Hmm.
this the tarot spreads in order either. But I always feel like, there's a moment where I'm like, like I think that's a step four issue I'm having today. And often I think when I'm having a step four issue, I'm actually probably having a step one issue. So I might go back to that and do that ritual today or use that tarot spread. And I mean that's what I really love about tarot and being a pagan is it taught me how to create a routine
Hmm.
because I was able to ritualize everything. I had really like very little boundaries, no routine before I got sober.
Hmm.
And to be able to learn how to start somewhere, the first ritual I engaged in very early sobriety is just pulling a tarot card in the morning and
Hmm.
reflecting on that, seeing that, um, and then reconnecting with it at the end of the day, seeing how the lessons were unfolded, writing about it in my journal. And from there, I learned how to have consistency and build upon that. And because of the amount of energy work I do every day, I do a lot of rituals
Hmm.
to start my day, to end my day, but also throughout. And I really feel like I needed to learn structure, and that's how I was able to understand the type of structure I needed in my life.
Ooh, yeah, the structure. And that's one of those words that I both simultaneously love and hate.
Oh yeah, completely. Yeah.
And so you were able to structure your own structure, which is great because I mean, from what I've experienced and have heard lately, is that creativity is not our thoughts per se, but more or less possibly divine guiding us and saying, "Hey, go this way a little bit." And so maybe the structure that you create for yourself was the higher you or whatever guiding you along the way, saying, "Hey, do this; it'll help you out."
I believe so. I think so.
But so you're saying that someone can sit there and if they're wanting to start their recovery journey, they could actually pick up your book and just start reading it and help them get sober?
Well, I think it can be a tool in your toolkit. I
Hmm.
think that I really do believe that healing and recovery is a multidimensional process.
Oh yeah.
I find, and I think it's wonderful to live without like limiting ourselves. So I don't think that, for me, the recovery process being a multidimensional experience has been really important. So I find that I would love for my book to be one of the tools within one's recovery toolkit.
Yeah, that's awesome. I
Yeah.
just got to say thank you for making that in the world, because I know
Oh,
for myself, that's one thing that if I saw that on a bookshelf whenever I was in active addiction, I would have been like, hey, that sounds cool. I want to read it, you know?
that's
So,
good to hear. Wow.
yeah.
Well, I'm very inspired by creating the thing I wish had been there for me.
Mm,
And I needed a book like this. And I felt ready to share my story and my perspective. I mean, well, do you ever really feel ready to be
no.
courageous and vulnerable? Not really, but something bigger than me was lovingly pushing me maybe off the fool's cliff uh, into writing this. And I I love hearing others' recovery stories, and I really admire vulnerability and courage in others. It's a lot to put yourself out there. It's a lot to, I think, there's no such thing as perfection, but I think to admit, like, I'm not perfect. I've struggled. I'm struggling. I'm figuring things out, and this is what worked for me. I mean, that's something I really love about my experience in recovery communities, is how we can learn from each other's perspectives and to understand that something that can feel so lonely and so solo is it's a valid experience, it's an understandable experience, and it is a resonant experience. And I found addiction to be quite lonely.
Yeah.
And recovery is so filled with love, multidimensional love, multifaceted love. And so if anyone can feel a little less alone in any way, but if you can feel that through reading my book, I mean, the work is done. I really would be honored if anyone can relate to that experience, because it can be tough to be a human, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it can be super tough to be a human from time to time. And it's one of those things that getting into recovery, some people may think that you have to meet certain prerequisites, or you may have to follow certain things to get sober, to get healthy again. And that was kind of my thing. I stayed out of it because I was like, hey, recovery, like I have to go back to church and stuff like that. And I'm not about to do that. So no, and that was just one of the things that kind of held me back from doing it. It wasn't the entire truth of anything, because like you said, recovery is multifaceted, you know?
I really can relate to that. I understand. I think that, and maybe this is like how we place limitations on ourselves, but I didn't know if I qualified as an addict,
Yeah.
and I didn't know if I qualified as a witch. I mean, I think there's like, I had all these ideas of like, well, this is what makes a witch, or
Hmm.
this is what makes an addict, and it's just like, to be honest, this is how I feel. If you think you're an addict, or you think, or no, if you think you have a problem with substances, explore it, be curious. If you think you're a witch, explore it, be curious. It's probably a yes to both. And like, so just there's something telling you that that's a facet of yourself to to dive into more, and explore. And I know that uh, being an addict doesn't look one way, and neither does being a witch. So uh, you don't need to wait for someone else to tell you. don't let it get that far. I think in
Yeah.
either vein, but like, just it's wonderful to be curious,
Hmm.
and there's help out here. There's support.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And you said something about being curious and being that fool, and sometimes we're pushed off the ledge and we don't really want to jump off the ledge, but we're never really quite ready. So at the same time, how do you say that you were able to accept the fall? Because a lot of the time, like you said, we can sit there at the edge as long as we want, but like writing the book, you were kind of in free fall as you were writing it, right?
Yeah, I feel like, I mean, for me, I think it's like getting sober and even taking the fool's journey of writing a book. It's
Hmm.
like the reality of not doing it was far more painful than the reality of saying yes.
Mm.
And, there were other books I thought I was going to write,
Mhm.
and I didn't, and someone else did. And I really do believe in any creative act.
Uh-huh.
Look, I went to art school. I had a professor in art school who said, everything has been done. It's all been done. It's just up to you to do it from your perspective. And that's how you do it differently. And I've really held on to that. I really do believe that. Don't let the fact that, oh, it's already been done to stop you, because you haven't done it yet. So it hasn't been done.
Mm.
But there was something that I just knew that I needed to share my story. This was
Mhm.
part of like why I'm here.
Mhm.
And this is part of, I feel like, my spiritual path, my sober path, my creative path. And I did feel an urgency of like,
Mm.
this just needs to come out of me and it
Yeah.
needs to be shared. And as terrified as I was to write it, because there was a lot of fear
Mhm.
around the vulnerability that comes with any creative act, but really sharing some of the deepest, darkest challenges I've faced and overcome, where
Mhm.
like now, like anyone can pay, I think, 18.99 and find out about those things about me. Um, but it's also a story of redemption
Uh-huh.
and finding one's power again.
Mhm.
But it's I don't know. I think anything good requires some sacrifice, and anything good is going to come with a mix of emotions, and fear is often one of them. And I think it's good to get out of our comfort zone. It's good to see how truly powerful and resilient we are.
Mhm.
And I really do believe that when someone shows up in acceptance of themselves, when someone shows up with honesty and vulnerability, it encourages others to do the same. And that's the type of world I want to live in. I really do believe that we can create the space we desire, but sometimes we have to be that fool and take the first step.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for being open and vulnerable with us on all that. And I mean, I completely feel you. And I think creativity is a sacrifice in its own right. We do
Yes.
produce something, but what do we have to sacrifice to make the thing, because it kind of goes down to alchemy. Everything is kind of just transmuted, kind of like how recovery is just pain transmuted into love. So,
Yes. I love that. It's so true.
mhm. What would you say that is one of the aspects of your story, though, that other people need to hear? Like, if they're listening to this episode right now, what is something that your story just needs to be heard from that person or to that person? Did I say that right? Probably not.
I think you did. You know, change is really hard, but I feel like change is always for our greatest good. And I feel like I live in Manhattan and I make my living as a witch. And that is so cool. no one can believe it. I think like less than I can. I'm just like, this is incredible.
Hmm.
And I really do feel that we can make our dreams come true. I mean, it did take a lot of hard work and sacrifice. And I know my devotion to my recovery and sobriety is what allows me to be able to do this book. I always like kind of like joke around with people I love that it's like, if I mean, of course, like this book wouldn't exist without me being sober because it's about how I got sober.
Yeah.
But like, I couldn't do it if I couldn't be in devotion to the practice of writing a book if I wasn't in devotion to sobriety.
Mm.
And I think it's just really important to remember that like life can look very different. And of course, like that's good, bad, surprising, otherwise, but we are not beholden to our addiction. And something that I love about 12 steps, I have a lot of mixed feelings about 12 steps, probably because I'm an addict. Like, but for me it works. It provided that framework that I needed to reflect and understand myself, my motivations, my choices, and to make changes to act differently. Something that I love about recovery is it gave me the understanding of like, hey, what you're doing isn't working, so try something else. And the confidence to do that. So, you know, I was at the deepest, darkest depths of a pit
Hmm.
when I was drinking. And a lot of ways, my first year of recovery felt like clawing my way out of that pit, like through sheer, I don't know, might, terror, maybe some ego, probably, but like, you know, we're so resilient as humans, and having that willingness and readiness, but like, I never thought that like, I don't know, like 9 years ago, 10 years ago, would think on a beautiful Sunday afternoon, I'd be looking out at Central Park, talking to my friend Keegan about my recovery journey. That's nearly 9 years of sobriety. Like, it's incredible. And I just feel like, I really do feel like if I could do it, like, and you're considering it, you're listening, you're considering it, you can too. This is like, my life has done a total 180. And as challenging as getting sober is and staying sober, it it's wonderful. I mean, I love that. I always like butcher all the like AA-isms because I think there's a lot of thoughts going on in my head, but it's like, what is it? Like, my greatest day drunk is
Oh,
nowhere near my worst day sober or something
something
like
like,
that.
yeah.
That
Hmm.
sentiment. And it's so true. Like, my greatest day drunk, what was I doing? Nothing
Eh,
of merit, like
no.
nothing loving towards myself. Like,
Mm-mm.
now I just, it, as challenging as clarity can be sometimes, it's the greatest gift. And I have it in abundance. So
Yeah.
it's wonderful.
Well, that's an amazing message for anyone out there that really needed to hear that. And I mean, seriously, if someone heard that and they're like, maybe I need to get sober, maybe I need to look into recovery, totally do it. Like it, it's not a membership, it's free.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So
I guess if you don't like it, you could cancel it.
yeah,
I wouldn't advise that. I'm not saying do that, but like, it's not
yeah.
locking you in like those gym memberships.
Yeah, right. And ooh, I'm glad that you said that because as we're recording, we're coming up on the new year, and so by the time this gets released, it's going to be a little bit after. But everyone still needs to hear this because I feel that like recovery is a lot like a New Year's resolution, and I have a resentment
Oh,
towards New Year's resolutions. Let me tell you what,
same.
because I've never kept a single one.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh,
I've
interesting.
never kept a single New Year's resolution because I never could commit to a full year. It's kind of like recovery. I have to do this forever. Are you serious? And that was the mindset. But in recovery, I've learned it's a moment at a time. It's a breath at a time. It's 5 minutes. It's
Yes.
a day. And I just think a lot of us kind of screw ourselves whenever we think, if I do this now, I have to do it forever, or I
Oh,
have to feel this
yeah.
forever.
I'm just
Go
doing
ahead.
this one day at a time, and somehow now it's nearly 9 years. So
Yeah.
that's all it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I mean, like you said, sometimes that clarity is challenging, and sometimes that new challenge brings about old triggers that we thought we were kind of done with or whatever, and we're like, oh, well, how do you handle those situations? Because I mean, that's how a lot of people end up falling into a really bad relapse and maybe not get out of that relapse.
Oh, of course. And I have a lot of compassion for that, and I've been there.
Mm-hmm.
That's part of my story. And something that I really love about recovery is something you already mentioned. It's just it's moment to moment. And I really think that if you look at anything like a big mountain, of course that's intimidating. But when you just do it one step at a time, it's manageable. And something I've learned in recovery is like, so discomfort was um was a big trigger for me. It still
Mm-hmm.
is.
Yeah.
Look, we live in a world filled with triggers. Like,
Mm-hmm.
that's going to be it. Recovery's not going to take those away. I hate to spoil it for everyone. That is, triggers will remain.
Mm-hmm.
But I think self-compassion is a lovely antidote to triggers. Acceptance, understanding of what you need, and how you can be supported is wonderful. And you know, I don't want to like not leave my house personally, so I'm going to venture out into the world with my triggers. I mean, there's triggers going on in my own mind. So they're going to find me wherever I am.
Mm-hmm.
But I do feel that now I have the skills and tools to combat it. And discomfort used to feel like it was going to kill me.
Yeah.
And it's actually not.
No.
Discomfort's not going to kill anyone.
Mm-mm.
The destructive habits to cope with it could, though. And the reality for me is I can be uncomfortable for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And after that, I can check in with myself and see, like, am I still really uncomfortable? Well, do I have to be in this situation? Or can I go? Can I do something else? Can
Uh-huh.
I can I have help and support? Like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't have to do everything on my own. Recovery's taught me there's tons of help available. And things that used to make me uncomfortable, I can actually have the help there with me. So I'm not navigating it alone. Even if it's just texting someone I love, or having a little phone call, or having that reminder, or you know what? I mean, maybe they're going to come with me, or maybe I don't have to go. I just
Mm-hmm.
feel like but universally, I've understood I can handle that discomfort. And the 12 steps has provided that framework for me to actually understand where the discomfort stems from. And for me, when I figured out what that was, I could accept it more easily and accept myself and show myself some love and compassion where it needed.
Mm-hmm.
And, but not like, we don't need to react to everything. So I think just embracing stillness and actually reflecting on what is it that I need right now, so that I don't feel like I have to pick up and use or drink. And I think that can be really helpful in moving through those really painful or challenging experiences and moments, and just breaking it down. It really is sometimes just one moment at a time, and all those moments add up.
Yeah, they do add up, and they add up really quick. And that was beautifully said
Yes.
too. So thank you.
Thank you.
Of course. And I mean, it's one of those things too that recovery has all these different facets to it. And I mean, we're never really done recovering, I think. I think it's an ongoing process. And I love how you also said the whole mountain metaphor instead of the elephant, because I don't know about you, but every time someone says, "How do you eat an elephant?" It's like, well, yeah, you divvy it up, you cook it, blah blah blah. But that's the thing. It's like I'm never going to eat an elephant. Like, please, come on. Like, that's a bad metaphor. Now, a mountain. I have done a mountain, and it was
There
very
you go.
interesting. So
There
that
you
one
go.
I can relate to. So thank you.
You're welcome. I'm a vegan. I'm not telling anyone to eat an elephant.
Fair enough. I don't blame you there. Um, and I just gotta say, before we get into our little game show segment, do you think that we could have you back on the show in the future to see how your recovery has gone and possibly dive even deeper into tarot and everything like that?
Oh, I'd love to. I'd be
Awesome.
honored. I'd love to come back. Thank you.
Of course. Thank you for just showing up and everything like that. But it's one of those things that I've always, well, maybe not always. I've been trying to get people more along my own spiritual line to get it on here and talk about recovery, because it's an angle that not a lot of people talk about online or in general. So it's one of those things like, hey, pagans or witches, or non-Christians, they can all recover too. It's one of those things that you don't have to fall into something that you don't want to just to get healthy again. So
I completely agree, and I think it's good to work with the energy, work with the sometimes it's I feel like it's been really helpful for me to be seen in my recovery process, and I'll come back anytime you'll have me.
Awesome. Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Of course.
But with that being said, I've got a little bit of a game if you want to play it real quick.
Yes, I do. I love
All
games.
all right. So everyone out there, our game today is going to be called Rapid Fire Ritual. I'm going to provide Sarah with a common obstacle. It's going to be a feeling or situation, and she has 20 to 30 seconds to assign a tarot card to that situation, and then after that, provide a little micro ritual or something to help shift the energy back to the positive flow of things. So, are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. So, up first, you're stuck in traffic and your anxiety is spiking.
Oh, that's it. Okay. Yes.
Yep.
I live in New York City. I don't drive anymore, but I am stuck in traffic. Let's see. Okay, honestly, I would say Four of Swords. So, like, don't go to sleep, but take a little rest. If you're stuck in traffic, I have been to LA quite a bit for work, so I do know about traffic. Sometimes you just need to recenter and breathe. But like, so that could be like an Ace of Swords, but I'm going with Four of Swords. You just need some mental clarity. Like, to be honest, where do you need to be? Just give yourself enough time to get where you're going. Be realistic with your time. Get a good night's sleep. The Virgo's giving you a lot to do here, but like, even in the moment, I think sometimes just closing your eyes, that could be like a teeny little nap, and then reset and just be like, okay, it is what it is. And the traffic, you're not going to be in traffic forever. That's going to move,
Yeah.
even if you're in LA.
Yeah, that actually makes me think about a lot of different things, because my job has me drive a lot, and I usually hit traffic points at the time where I'm really flustered. So that's weird. I'm gonna have to do that next time.
All right, good. Yeah, just go to bed. Just go to sleep. That's all. Then the traffic goes away.
All right. Up next, you just had a triggering phone call with a family member.
I understand that. Let's see. Family's tough. Family dynamics are really challenging. So this is what I would say for that.
Okay.
Is I actually am really feeling the Ten of Cups, which is such a beautiful card of chosen family. And so I find that if you just had a really difficult, triggering phone call with a family member, call someone where you feel at peace in your heart, and someone that you choose to have in your life that feels like all of those good, sweet feelings of family. And to me, that feels like someone who can really see you, who really knows you on that heart level, And I think that when you remember you're not alone and there's so much love in your life and in your world, it's a beautiful anecdote to a triggering conversation such as being described here.
Ooh, I love that. Thank you. That
Of
really
course.
goes back with the whole balance aspect. All right. What about feeling imposter syndrome before a big presentation?
Oh, no, I love this.
Oh, okay. Before a big presentation or undeserving after the applause.
Six of Wands.
Okay.
Throw yourself a parade.
Uh-huh.
Celebrate your victories. And I feel like imposter syndrome, so understandable, so relatable. I feel like unless you're an egomaniac, everyone faces imposter syndrome. But I really do think it's quite empowering to remember your wins. Like, and you don't need to be precious about this. Like, sometimes when you're feeling bad, getting out of bed is a win. Like, putting yourself together for the day is a win. It doesn't have to be something extraordinary. I'd love for you to pick something extraordinary. But anytime that you felt proud of yourself, hold that feeling and let it guide you into what's next, because you are very deserving of every opportunity that comes your way. If you're human and you're living and you're existing, you've been through a lot and you've won many times. This is your moment to recognize that and let that energy carry you through that imposter syndrome.
Okay. Ooh, I love that one too. Thank you.
Of
And
course.
all right, up next. You're craving a drink at 6 p.m. on a Friday because your coworkers are going out to celebrate.
That's tough. So I'm gonna say Four of Wands. Go
Okay.
out with other people and celebrate. Yeah, there's always something to celebrate. Make up your own occasion, make up your own holiday.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, maybe coworkers hang out a little too much. Like, do you really need to hang out with your coworkers? Like, I get it. Sometimes you do need to. And like, but I don't know, Friday at 6 p.m., that's when things are really popping off. So go find something else to do and celebrate that.
Mm.
You've had enough time with your coworkers. You've been with them. I'm hearing Friday at 6 p.m. I'm imagining you've been with them 9 to 5, Monday to Friday. Enough. Do something else. Celebrate that.
Yeah, I like that. Be a little independent.
Yeah, there's always fun to be had.
Yeah. All right. And how about this last one that's going to bring us back to the recovery path? You feel totally disconnected from your own spiritual path today.
Okay, I want to say two cards.
Okay.
So I would say the High Priestess and the Ace of Pentacles. And so this is why. The High Priestess is going to invite that stillness and self-reflection, that reconnection to your inner voice, your intuition. And the Ace of Pentacles, because it's just one step at a time. You have to start somewhere. I always think of the Ace of Pentacles as the acorn, and then the Ten of Pentacles as the oak tree. You don't get from the acorn to the oak tree overnight. You take one step at a time. It's one little bit of growth at a time. And so I think like it's like any relationship. You have to give it time and devotion and nourishment for it to thrive. And that includes our spiritual relationship. So create that space for devotion, reflection, to hear your intuition. And because it's like, I don't know, like I haven't had a burning bush moment. I don't know about you, Keegan, but like that's I think quite rare. So we have to kind of cultivate that relationship. And it's just start. So that's why I feel like, and think of it as, I don't know, to me, my spiritual journey, my spiritual path, that relationship in my life, it's ongoing and ever evolving. And it needs different nourishment at different times. And I'm in full acceptance of that. So I think those two cards are in alignment for a way to solve that issue.
Ooh, I love that. That is some deep thinking and quick thinking too. So thank you for that.
Welcome. I loved your questions.
Of course. Oh, I did forget to ask a little earlier on. Where can people find you?
You can find me all over the internet. I am a big fan of the internet in moderation. I am on Instagram. I am Sarah Potter, Sarah with an H. My
Okay.
website is iamsarahpotter.com. You can book a reading with me on either. I have an Acuity with my calendar. I'm on Substack, which is really fun. It feels like blogging again. And I'm on Cameo. Wherever the internet exists, so do I.
Ooh, that's awesome. It's one of those things that we've got to use the internet as well. It is a tool. It is a networking aspect of things. And I mean, whenever I think of the web, I've ever since I've really learned more about spiders and stuff, there and the internet is a giant web, so we can create our own realities through the internet. It's kind of interesting.
So cool. Spiders are so cool.
They're a lot cooler once you start to dive into the symbolism and you're not afraid of it anymore. But there's still a little like, don't want them to bite me. But
oh yeah. It's actually funny. The spiders are like the one fear I'm not conquering. Like I've conquered all of them, and like I love spiders and I respect them, but I'm okay with having like one thing I'm afraid of.
I mean, I think that's a healthy fear.
Thank you.
Yeah, well, we developed fears of spiders for a reason, I think. So,
I
don't
agree.
I don't think that that's one that's really taught. I think that that's one that is kind of just innate in people, because they're little tiny things that like they could bite you and kill you. So you got to be on the lookout.
Yes. Well, I really appreciate your perspective on that, because I think it's very validating. So thank you.
Of course. And I just got to say thank you for validating everyone out there today that has wondered if they can get sober and be on a recovery journey without having to go down any other predetermined path. So, and they can find your book on iamsarahpotter.com too, right?
Yes, and on my Instagram, it's available wherever books are sold. Silver Magic, Using Tarot and Ritual, and Your Journey Away from Drinking, out on Running Press.
Awesome. Well, Sarah, we'll see you in the future. Oh, I did forget this last bit. For your amazing work in the Rapid Fire Ritual, we are giving you the title of the Architect of the Luminous Path for Retrieving Sanity. So,
ooh, thank you. I receive it. Amazing.
And is there anything that you'd like to leave the audience with for this wonderful Sunday afternoon?
Ooh, I encourage you to be curious. If something's lighting you up, follow it.
Ooh. And then if it's a little scary, that's probably the sign that you need to take a little bit of a leap of faith. Maybe.
Yes, I love that. If it's scary, do it now.
Fair enough.
Right?
Yep. All right. Well, with that being said, everyone out there, thank you for listening to Retrieving Sanity on WDJY 99.1 FM. And this has been Keegan. This has been Sarah. And we'll see y'all in the future. And don't forget to try to love yourself, love others if you can, but you got to love yourself first. And if you're having a mental health crisis, call 988. And if you're in the LGBTQ plus community, dial the Trevor Project up in Canada. And we'll see y'all in the future. And with that being said, much love. Shalom.
Hi.